Hello and welcome to Skill Drain High, Hardleg Gaming's guide to advanced rules and concepts in Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Hardleg Joe, and in this lesson I'll be explaining problem-solving card text, in particular, how conjunctions are used to show timing and connectivity. For those of you who don't know, a conjunction is a word that joins two statements together. Words like and, then, because, also, are all examples of conjunctions. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Conjunctions are used when a single effect has multiple parts. In December of 2012, Konami released their 7th article on problem-solving card text. In it, they explain there are 4 distinct conjunctions used in Yu-Gi-Oh!, each with a slightly different but very specific meaning. In order to best show the differences between these conjunctions, I've made up a card to use as an example. Skill Train. Skill Train is a normal spell with one effect that has 2 parts. Special summon one monster from your hand, discard one card. By plugging the different conjunctions into Skill Train, I can show exactly how the timing and connectivity are affected by each. Perhaps the easiest of the 4 conjunctions to understand is the phrase, "and if you do." This conjunction shows that you must do the first part of the effect in order to do the second part. If for some reason you don't do the first part, then the rest of the effect is cancelled. So if Skill Train said, "Special summon one monster from your hand, and if you do, discard one card," then you must summon in order to discard. If your opponent responds to Skill Train by chaining something that prevents special summons, then Skill Train will resolve without any effect. However, just because you special summon doesn't mean you have to discard. Well, you have to discard if you can, but if you're unable to discard for some reason, the summon still happens. This is what separates "and if you do" from the second kind of conjunction, and. When an effect just uses the word "and", then you have to do both parts of the effect, otherwise you can't do either part. So, if Skill Train said, "Special summon one monster from your hand, and discard one card," then your opponent can stop it either by preventing the summon, or by making you discard your other cards. This also means that if you don't have at least 2 cards in your hand, you can't activate Skill Train in the first place, since it would be impossible to do both parts of the effect. In contrast is the third conjunction, also. When also is used, it means the 2 parts of the effect aren't connected. You simply do as much of the effect as you can. So in the case of Skill Train, you could still summon even if you can't discard, and you still have to discard even if you can't summon. The 2 parts don't affect each other. Despite their different levels of connectivity, the first 3 conjunctions have one thing in common: their timing. In all 3 cases, both parts of the effect are considered to happen at the same time. This is what separates them from the 4th and final conjunction, then. Effects that use the conjunction "then" work similar to "and if you do" effects, except that the parts happen in sequence. First you do the first part, and then if you do, then you do the second part. This is an important distinction to make, because these kinds of effects can sometimes cause other effects to miss their timing. Missing the timing is something that can happen with optional trigger effects and spell traps that use the word "when". When signifies that an effect can only be activated directly after something specific happens. For instance, the trap card Torrential Tribute says, "When a monster is summoned, destroy all monsters on the field." This means it can only be activated right after a summon. If a player attempts to activate Torrential at any other point, it's an illegal activation. The timing is wrong. This is where then effects come into play. Let's say your opponent has Torrential Tribute set, and you activate Skill Train, which in this case says, "Summon one monster from your hand, then discard one card." Since Skill Train uses "then", the parts of its effect are performed in sequence. First you summon, then you discard. Because of this, even though a summon just happened, your opponent cannot activate their Torrential Tribute. Torrential can only be activated directly after a summon, and directly after your summon, you discarded a card. Since discarding a card was the last thing that happened, and since Torrential can't break into the middle of Skill Train's effect to activate, it's unable to be activated at all. It missed the timing. I should reiterate that this only happens with then conjunctions. With the other 3 types of conjunctions, both parts of the effect happen simultaneously. So, with any other version of Skill Train, you can activate Torrential Tribute without problem. Likewise, only optional effects that start with "when" can miss the timing. If an effect is mandatory, or starts with the word "if", then it can never miss the timing. Finally, remember that only cards released or reprinted after 2011 have problem-solving card text. Whenever using older cards, be sure to check the official rulings to assure they're being played correctly. Well, that's it for this lesson of Skill Drain High. Please like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and if you'd like to help support future videos, you can donate to the Patreon. Thanks for watching, good luck, and have fun.